Well, here we go then. The windmills turn silently round here, but it's the only place within the vicinity of Zandvoort that you can get a bit of peace and quiet. 105,000 Dutch fans are making a tremendous amount of noise ahead of round 15 of the Formula One World Championship in 2022. It is the Dutch Grand Prix, and for the first time, the home fans come to their home circuit to greet their home world champion. Max Verstappen reigning supreme at the top of the championship this year as well. 93 points the lead going into this round around this 2.6 mile circuit. 14 corners, 4 to the left and 10 to the right. It's 247 metres from pole to the first braking zone and into Tarzan corner, where last year Sergio Perez went round the outside of Daniel Ricciardo. It's a brave move, but if you're brave enough, the reward is there for you on a track that is very, very tough to overtake. Turn 3, and there's a spin for Sebastian Vettel, who had a spin in qualifying yesterday and is down in 19th on the grid for this year's race. Hopefully the 72 laps will be a little less problematic for him this afternoon. And this is Sergio Perez on Nikita Mazepin into the chicane and at the start of the stadium section. You need about 1.5 seconds extra pace a lap to get overtakes done here. Perez certainly had that on that particular lap. The 3 tyre compounds for the 4th time this season. It's the hardest in the Pirelli range. The C1, the hard tyre, the C2, the medium, and the C3, the soft. And Pirelli talking about a mixture of strategies today. You can do a one-stopper, but you're going to have to look after those tyres to make it work. So we're right by the North Sea here at Zandvoort, the waves lapping over the shores, but let's go through the starting grid. Nicholas Latifi, slowest in Q1 for the 3rd time in 4 races, is alongside Sebastian Vettel in 19th, and then Kevin Magnussen and Daniel Ricciardo sharing row 9, while their teammates are in the top 8. Valtteri Bottas starts 16th, just behind Alex Albon, who got out of Q1 for the 4th time in 5 races. Zhou Guanyu starts 14th, and behind Fernando Alonso, 3rd quickest team Alpine in Spa, but today Alonso 13th and his teammate Esteban Ocon 12th. Pierre Gasly, 7 races now without a Q3 appearance, is 11th. Lance Stroll into Q3 for the first time since Miami, and alongside him Yuki Tsunoda for AlphaTauri. Then comes Mick Schumacher with his best ever qualifying in a dry session alongside Lando Norris, who quite likes 7th. George Russell is 6th on the grid alongside Sergio Perez, whose spin brought qualifying to an early end. Lewis Hamilton starts 4th on the grid alongside Carlos Sainz, who starts 3rd for a 6th time this season, and it's Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen for the 7th time this season. Today, his opportunity at the Dutch Grand Prix. 72 laps to come then. It's lights out and away we into turn 1. Verstappen leads, and on the inside there's contact between Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton has kept that 4th place. Looked a little bit dodgy for him for a while. Good start from Lando Norris, and he's got ahead of George Russell and almost getting tagged by Lance Stroll on the inside, going wide. Kevin Magnussen into the gravel and hits the barrier, comes back out onto the track, but manages to keep that Haas going. DRS, George Russell getting past Lando Norris. Carlos Sainz is coming in for Ferrari. It's the shortest pit lane, I think, of the season. Perez was there and they were still looking for the tyre. Perez actually went over, I think, one of the cables for the wheel guns, and that is a disaster for Carlos Sainz. I don't think they had a tyre at the rear left for Carlos Sainz.
They left the gun out. Yeah, we saw.
Two mates getting nice and close in a friendly fashion going through the chicane. Who comes out on top? Well, Seb is trying to hold this one as long as he possibly can, and that was a very nice piece of driving by both drivers. He's got that DRS. Hamilton has to go the long way round. Perez locks up. Perez forces Hamilton even wider and then loses speed in doing so. And what kind of animal was that, Sergio Perez? Sergio Perez currently in third. Lewis Hamilton maybe targeting a win today, needs to get past the Red Bull. This time he's clear. Perez doesn't lock up.
Beautiful move around the outside, nicely judged on the brakes there. Oh, and he's straight out into traffic.
I mentioned Vettel had pitted. He came out of the pit stop right where Hamilton didn't want him. Hamilton just about hangs on to third place.
Lovely move for Lewis around the outside.
Could Vettel have kept out of the way a little bit sooner?
It's a tricky one. He's come out of the pits. You're not really sure where you are at that moment in time, what race you're in, unless your engineer is telling you.
By the side of the track, Yuki Tsunoda stops.
Tires not fitted, tires not fitted.
Let's have a look here. Watch the front left as it goes out.
Tires are okay, start again, tires are okay.
And the tyres are fitted as far as the team are concerned, so Tsunoda is allowed to rejoin this race.
Something wrong, something strange in the rear, something strange. Deep is broken, I think.
Stop, stop.
Right, so there wasn't a safety car. There might be a safety car. Verstappen might just hang on to the lead here. So into the pit lane comes Lewis Hamilton. Ted Kravitz, down to you.
Yeah, so there's enough of a gap for them to do it, but there you see George Russell, so they are going to stack. That was good for Mercedes because they had the position as first people in the pit lane to be able to stack their cars, and that was nice work.
We got another car stopping,
Bottas.
and it's Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo, and I think this is down the main straight where Valtteri Bottas has stopped. It's right before the first corner. This could be another safety car. Yellow flags are now waving. Sainz, wow, made the move on Esteban Ocon, but I'm not sure he got ahead. Yellow flags. To be fair to him, he was already ahead. Verstappen's been told to get into the pits. Soft tyres going on Max Verstappen's Red Bull. Hamilton is going to take the lead of this race after Red Bull pitted Max Verstappen.
Let's stop. Let's put the soft on. I'm losing the tyre. I think we need to put the soft on.
That is an unsafe release, Carlos Sainz on Fernando Alonso. Away we go then, we're going green, and Verstappen has got a decent toe behind Hamilton, and Verstappen is going wheel to wheel down the main straight with Hamilton, and Verstappen is ahead going into turn one. Lewis Hamilton's been overtaken by Max Verstappen right at the start.
Look at that toe he got through that corner, and Lewis just opened the gap, threw it down the outside on the main straight.
Hamilton struggling for pace out there, and his teammate 20 metres behind him, and his teammate is not going to be 20 metres behind for long. And oh dear, George Russell nearly ran straight into the back of his teammate before he manages to react at the very last moment. That wasn't team orders. Lewis Hamilton's last lap was 9/10 of a second slower than Charles Leclerc, and Charles Leclerc is now past Lewis Hamilton. And Hamilton, who at one stage looked like he was going to get his first win in 2022, is not even going to get on the podium. For the second year running here at Zandvoort, Max Verstappen wins the Dutch Grand Prix.
Another majestic drive, let's call it that today. Well done, Max.
For the man on top of the podium, Max Verstappen, who wins once again, and it all turned out nicely in the end for the man on pole. A lot harder than he did this time last year in Zandvoort, but Max Verstappen stands on top of the world, on top of the podium, and certainly very much on top here in Zandvoort. What a weekend it's been for him and for Red Bull.
They were so quick on the hard compound and even on the start of the medium that I thought, let's see if how long the soft can hold on. and what pace they can have on the medium tire. But then, yeah, we had a good restart. I got in the lead, and for us in general today, the soft compound worked really well compared to like a hard compound.
The thing I'm most pleased about is the performance of the car. I think that's really exciting to see how much progress we've made. I think today, I need to look at the numbers and details, but I think we had the fastest car today. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to fight for victory if we keep qualifying so far down the grid.
On the softs, I think we were strong because considering we had used tyres compared to Max's new tyres, we were relatively quick. But then on the medium, for some reason, it didn't feel as good.
I think the Mercedes were a step faster than us today. Very surprised that they managed to do the one stop. They seem to be really good on the tyres, and yeah, just the restart. I think being on the medium did hurt us a bit at the restart because it was really difficult to get temperature there.
When you hit the wall in the race, it's not good. But you know, it was my mistake. I tried too hard, lost the rear, went off and hit the wall. Came back, was able to continue, and then I tried my best to come back. But a bit of a wasted weekend.